Hey guys, welcome to Red Devils Down Under. I am your host, JoshMUFC, and you're joining me today for a preview versus Everton. United take them on at Goodison Park tomorrow. I think roughly 24 hours or so. I'm just going to go through just the usual things. Form guide for the team, who's in, who's out injury wise. Lineup predictions, any sort of last minute news, bounce some comments off you guys and see what you guys have to say about the predictions and all of that. And I'll give you my predicted 11 and my predicted score. So got some early comments here actually that have come through. So I'll just go here. So I've got, myself, I put in the comment early, which is the usual stuff. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, all that sort of stuff. Do that. Very, very welcomed. Realist United, big up to Josh, big up to yourself, my friend. Thank you for leaving a comment. Brush in the comments with his usual popcorn. Thank you for dropping in. And Twisted here in the modding and the comment duties as normal. Big up Josh and guys in the chat. Absolutely. So going on to what have I done there? Oh, sorry, it's been a little while since I've done a stream, so I'm a little bit rusty, so apologies for that in advance. So United take on Everton at Goodison Park. Everton recently come into a good batch of form. They've won 2 on the bounce after drawing, I think, 4 games or something in a row before that, and Frank Lampard seems to be starting to get a tune out of Everton. I'm personally not super concerned about Everton as a team right now, but I mean, I'm hoping United don't do their usual fall from grace and allow them to play other teams into form, aka City in the last Prem game, which was atrocious. And I stayed well away from socials during that time to allow the headspace because I had some agendas that completely fell on their face. So anyway, we'll jump into a little bit of Everton stuff just to give everyone a look at how they're traveling, what they look like, and injuries, etc. So we'll jump right into that. So as you see here, I've just used the Google search engine, just looking up Everton. Haven't really paid them too much attention. Dead club, dead manager, and yeah, so just for the purpose of this stream and to inform us all of what we're looking at here, I'll start on the table. Premier League table to remind us where we're all at. Everton sitting in 11th. They've just come off 2 wins on the bounce, as I stated earlier, and before that they had 3 draws. United, 6th position, 4 wins on the bounce, and then that devastating and humiliating loss to Man City last week. So we'll go into the matches and we'll have a look at who they played, what their results were. So I'll go back to, may as well go back to the start. I won't worry about the EFL Cup because that's not really Prem form. So started off with Chelsea. They lost to Villa, and then drew with Nottingham, drew with Brentford, drew with Leeds, drew with Liverpool, which I expected them to get walloped in, but just goes to show that the Merseyside derby does equal it out a lot, and Liverpool have been shit, which is more happiness for me. And after the postponement based on the Queen's passing, they since defeated a shocking West Ham 1-0 and a hot and cold Southampton 2-1. So in relation to form, the only concern I would have is that their confidence has grown from the last 2 wins and they actually put up a good performance. Can't guarantee it. Like I said, I don't rate Frank Lampard as a manager. He seems to be getting a little bit of a tune out of Everton at the moment, but I mean, this club, this team, they have so many players from many different managers and styles, whether they're overpaid or underpaid or whatnot, that doesn't really concern me. But the fact is their team in general aren't very good. And I think, to be fair, Lampard's probably doing a better job than a lot of people would have expected him to. Currently sitting mid-table, and they haven't conceded a lot of goals, which I guess is a good thing for them. So they are going to be hard to beat. they're always up for it when they play at home. And as you saw in these last few results here, their home games they've usually done pretty well. Anyway, we'll jump into the injury concerns for both sides here, just to give an idea of what the squads may look like coming into the game. So for Everton, I'm on the website here, like I was on last time, premierinjuries.com. They basically just give you all of the live and updated injury lists and percentages of starting the next game, reason for injury, etc., for the entire Premier League there. And this goes into Manchester United, but we'll start off at Everton and we'll go over their injured players. So Ben Godfrey still out. Potential return date in the back end of December, so that rules him out for this game. I don't think there'd be any magical thing happening. Same deal with Andros Townsend. He's had a knee injury, and as of only a couple of weeks ago, there was a quote saying, "If I'm feeling right, I could rejoin just before the World Cup, but I'd like to think in the worst case I'll be back after it." Andros Townsend put that weldy on United, I think it was last season, so I'm glad that he's out. Nathan Patterson, I don't know who this guy is, but he's out with an ankle/foot injury. No chance of playing. He's completely ruled out, and he's not going to be until mid-November. Yerry Mina, he's been listed at a 50% chance of starting this game. He can be a bit of a pest, but I think based on an ankle injury, they would probably err on the side of caution. I wouldn't see this guy starting. And again, that's still another week away, so I don't think they'd come back that early. Mason Holgate, same deal. He has a knee injury due to come back in a week or 8 days in my time. 50% chance of playing, but I don't think they'll rush him back too much. He's a pretty decent player for Everton, and bringing him back early could only make things worse. So they'll probably err on the side of caution and leave him out. But the big in for Everton here, the chances of him playing are 100%. It just depends on how things go. But Dominic Calvert-Lewin recovered from his groin injury he sustained a while ago. On the 7th of October, Frank Lampard is quoted as saying, yes, he is in contention. We'll have to see how match fit he is, but in terms of the injury, he's better. It's a really good boost. And that's probably the only area of concern I would have regarding Everton and any of their fitness issues resolving. Calvert-Lewin, I rate the guy. He's a good player. He could really cause a lot of of concerns for the United team. So yeah, I think he probably will play because it would be a massive boost for Everton. It would be just one of those little one of the extra players that can create that bit of an X factor that might just be slightly different to how slightly different player to most of the other people in Everton. And as Twisted rightly says here, DCL and Anthony Gordon can be dangerous. Now, Anthony Gordon's been in blitzing form. He could easily score one and assist one in the upcoming game. But yeah, he's not really I'm not really going over the Everton team too much. Like, I can't really talk in an informed way about them because I really don't pay them any attention. They're one of the teams I'm least concerned about, which is probably not very good for content. Probably lose 10 minutes of conversation there, but we move and we will continue on. So I'll move into Manchester United's injury list here. Now, Harry Maguire sustained a thigh injury. I think that was on international break. I could be wrong. And anyway, I don't really care. I don't want to see that bloody blockhead join the team again. He looks like something out of Minecraft or Roblox or something. Bless him. But yeah, October 5th, it was stated by Ten Hag. I think that was for the press conference, maybe just before it. Harry Maguire will take a little bit longer than Varane. Potential return date on the 21st of October. So yeah, doesn't say what the condition of him is at the moment, but he's been ruled out for this game. Move on to Rafael Varane. He's still recovering from his ankle injury sustained against, was it Ammonia? I think that little, no, it wasn't Ammonia, it was City, I think. But anyway, Raphael's making progress, and I hope he's available, but I think he will be close. Pending a late fitness test, he is due back on the 9th. I personally would like to see him back in the team, even if it's just a second half appearance. We saw against Ammonia, against the dead team that they are, that Lindelof and Martinez were a little bit. What's my camera doing? It's moving mad. Yeah, sorry. We saw that Martinez and Lindelof didn't work. While Lindelof, I rate him. I like him as a backup, especially more than Maguire. But that Varane, Martinez, that intensity, that tenacity in the back is very important for shutting down the team's attack and actually instigating that counter. So I would like to see Raphael back, but I mean, if it's going to be a risk of reinflating that injury, then just stick with Lindelof. I mean, this guy has shown he's going to be very, very important this season to our defense, and I don't want to see them. I don't want to see them put any more unnecessary pressure on him and even re-injure him any worse. Because at the moment, Ten Hag's managed him brilliantly, and I'm happy about that. So move on. Donny van der Beek is still ruled out. Still has a muscle injury. He'll take him a couple of weeks. He's back on the training grass. He's outside doing his work, but still individual, so away from the team. Brandon Williams, still no return date. Aaron Wan-Bissaka received a knock recently. He hasn't been given a return date and is currently being assessed. And obviously, the fuck's staying there. I'm not going to mention his name, so yeah, we'll move on. Now, just going to go into some of the Erik ten Hag press conference questions and answers that we'll give to him. Just to give an idea, he'll obviously have some team news and stuff, so we'll go into it here. Done through 90 min. Don't really like them, but this will just give you a clip notes of what the team news and all of that is from the coach's mouth. So, are there any players back in contention? Rafael Varane's made progress, and I hope he's available, but I think it will be close. As I've just said, Maguire and Aaron Wan-Bissaka and Donny are all out. Now, they asked him about Donny's situation, because I watched this on, if you want to go on YouTube and look up Beanie Man Sports, you get every press conference, like unfiltered, unedited, and it's wonderful. The guy is brilliant and such a good source for me to watch stuff rather than the positive spin and tripe that comes out of the Man United app, whatnot, etc. So yeah, Donny's had a muscle injury, so it takes him a couple of weeks. He's now back on the training grass outside. He's still doing work individually, not returned to team training. He was asked, can Donny van der Beek still make an impact at United? Now, I like this answer here because a lot of managers will lie through their teeth. Ollie, Ralph, Mourinho, just every manager lies. So he has to be fit. Obviously, that is a disadvantage. He's been here now for 2.5 years. He had a preseason. That was quite okay, and then his chances will come. Now, I like what he said here. When he came on against Brighton, he came on as a sub and did very well, but you have to be available. When you're not available, you can't get a place in the first 11. Now he has to make sure he gets fit and fights for his position. This is something that Ten Hag has very, very heavily pressed in all of his interviews and all of his, I guess, the whole idea of building this team back up is the fact that he's not going to go on favourites. He's going to go on form. He's going to go on players who work the hardest, training on the pitch, and that's one of the bread and butter things that all clubs and all players should be building from as a foundation. And yeah, as he said, Donny has shown in fits and spurts that he's he can do well, but he's just never been, I guess, that level above, or he's never been given the opportunity to sustain a run. But Ten Hag's just not going to go, hey, I brought this guy through Ajax. He's one of my favourites. I mean, there could be a place for him if United get more players in future windows. The whole Donny thing has been an absolute shambles. I still rate the guy. I still think he can do something, but I feel like with the transition the team's in, I feel like Donny would have been like a Frankie situation. It's like once the team is in Ten Hag's image. A player like De Jong, a player like Donny would have been good to just elevate that particular zone of the field. And Donny, he shows in the games, he passes, he moves, he's arriving in the box, but the players aren't on the same wavelength. And Ten Hag's only just at the start of this rebuild, and I just don't think I think he would go missing at this point. He's kind of a nice to have as opposed to a must have. So yeah, the Donny thing, I feel so sorry for the guy because his class, we went and bought him, and then he's barely even played 50 games or 60 games. It's terrible. Anyway, moving on to the next question. They were talking about playing with intensity. How can Man United achieve the intensity you've asked for? Now, he's gone on to say it's physical, it's mental, and it's also sustainability, especially like it's a routine, a way of life, and you have to bring it to every training in your system as a squad and as an individual player. You've had a lack of it in the last years. It's not something you build or progress in a week or a month, and that's paramount here. It has to be consistent, but it is a demand in top football nowadays. I think it's quite clear that City sets the standard in that, and there are more teams, but I think that also we can deliver that. We have seen it against Liverpool, we've seen it against Arsenal, but now we have to do it on a consistent basis. That is what we want to work for now, and this will not come overnight. It will take more than weeks, more likely months, and that's something that I feel a lot of United fans have shown that they are willing to be patient as long as there are visible signs of progress. And I personally do see it. Those 4 games on the bounce that we won, even in times against City, at times against Ammonia, Sociedad, you can see the basic shape and idea of what Ten Hag is trying to implement, and it's looked good. But again, the sustainability hasn't been there because this is a complete 180 from the style that's been implemented even over the last 4-5 years. Like, we know Jose Mourinho was very pragmatic and was very if you got time and space to hit a counter and score a goal, then we'll lock up and see out of 1-0 or a 2-1 or something. And for Ten Hag to be implementing what he's trying to do, the total football, the passing and moving, and the tenacity and mobility in midfield, that requires these players to work their ass off to get to a certain level of fitness, a certain level of intensity, but also that self-belief that Ten Hag goes on about very, very much. And that's very difficult to do. And I'm glad that United fans at the moment, they are, like I said, they are patient, but the biggest problem is that I think we are so deprived of good football, so deprived of positive results, that we are very, very quick to jump on things that are looking good and that are good. And I know myself, I got carried away. I said, United 2-1 will beat City, lock out Haaland, lock it out. No, ended up getting demolished. But I kind of had not a false confidence, but I used rationale where I thought there were places City could get beaten, but it just didn't pan out that way. But this is also, I guess, abuse puppy syndrome, if you want to call it that, being so crap for so long that all of a sudden it's brilliant, and we see the future, and it's just going to be 20 wins on the run. It's not quite like that. So I'll go in the comment here quickly. Should Donny go on loan in January? No, I personally don't think so. I think he should stay unless he makes it clear himself that he doesn't want to remain at Manchester United. If he's got an offer coming in and he's like, look, I want to do that. I want to go out. And I don't think he should go on loan. I think if he does leave, he should be sold, because it's one of those, if he goes out on loan to a club that it doesn't play like United, it just in order to get game time, while it might be beneficial for Donny to, potentially get a move out or whatever, if he bangs, if he goes out to say, I don't know, just say West Ham are interested, and he ends up transforming their midfield, it's only, if he doesn't Lingard at West Ham, for example, he's only going to increase the amount of eyes on him, increase his value, increase his interest, and that could benefit both United and Donny. but I think a sale should be the preference, especially when we have the massive log jam of games. He will be used once he's fit. It's just a matter of the injury list and how well he plays when he gets his opportunities. So, yeah. Should Erik ten Hag adapt his game to United's current physicality and ability instead of trying to implement his philosophy? Well, he's actually doing both at the moment. It's a good question, but he's doing both. Like in the first couple of games, literally the first 2 games, Brentford and who was the other one? Brentford and Brighton. He tried to do the extreme pressing, the extreme thing from the start, and it didn't work. So he took a step back. He's gone, okay, we can play with, I guess, that midfield intensity. So you see a lot of the balls between Eriksen, McTominay, and Bruno, and then you'll see Sancho come in and take it, or Anthony or Rashford come in and take the ball, and work with the midfielders to make their way upfield, to then create those opportunities or recycle the ball. So the emphasis is on possession and clean, crisp passing without being complete intensity like Ten Hag wants. So that is him basically taking a more pragmatic approach, but still using the style of play to gradually build those players up. So I think the players have the physical ability, and I think they have the physicality and the ability. I just think that he needs to find the right chemistry between the players, and that starting 11 that won 4 on the bounce, that's probably going to be the strongest side moving forward, depending on how Casemiro performs in McTominay's absence. But we'll get onto that a little bit later. So yeah, how do you balance that development with the need for results, which I thought was a really good question, and he actually answered it. He answered it brilliantly. So that's a balance. I will give players trust. I will back them when they're in worse shape, when they work hard and give their best in training sessions, when they take responsibility on the pitch. I will back them, but also we are United and our ambitions are really high, so you have to deliver. Every player in the squad has to take the responsibility individually, and they have to do it in a team culture. That's the demand from us, from the coaching staff to the players. So he's basically turned around and said, well, you realize that we need to have everyone on board at the same time. We need to all be pushing in the same direction, from the board right down to the players, but his control mainly is on the players and how they perform. And he's already shown that, McTominay's dropped a stinker, and then next game, albeit Europa League, Casemiro came in for him. He's been taking players off early if they've not been performing well. So Sancho against Demonia, all these sorts of things. So he's making it very clear what his expectations are, and he's putting down the marker very early, being like, you don't perform, you will be off the pitch. You don't perform, you won't be in the team. You aren't professional, you won't get what you want. So yeah, that was a really good question, a really good answer. Do Man United need to be more nasty? I think in that manner we can progress. I hope that came through the microphone. Oh, that's going to hurt. It's going to stink. I think also in that manner we can progress. Sometimes also play a little bit more smart. We have too many bookings, and some in the start I heard, in the Premier League they will play tough, but I'm really wondering, we collect so many bookings and I don't understand. This is one of the things about Ten Hag that he's going to need to quickly learn and adapt to when it comes to the rules and the referees and all of the sort of physicality of the Premier League. Like, there are always quick players that draw lots of fouls. There are very physical players that always get cards, and it's a matter of, and I think with him he just needs to try and find that balance. What's just got to say here? Bum burping. That is it. That's what just happened. Yes, it was funny. The first booking on Sunday, I really don't understand that. We want to play tough and we want to get the game going, and in the second minute already it's a booking for Dallo, which I thought was very soft. I think it's a duel. Clearly it's a foul, but then you get booked. And also I saw many other bookings and think, okay, is that necessary? I think this new I'm not going to say certain. There's this new aggression that United have come with. This whole the shithousery, the physicality is what's been missing for a very long time. Because for so long we've been too nice. Like we not so much polite, but it's just been like the guys have been afraid to actually do the contact side of this contact sport. And now you've seen like you see Martinez more than happy to go through the back of someone. You see Varane bumping shoulders off, a striker on a counter run. You see Dallo, you see Malacia more than happy to get to the ground and hit a slide tackle. All these kinds of things, and even McTominay and Casemiro, both very physical players, more than happy to drop a shoulder and really let them know you're there. So that can probably be a little bit more controlled, less aggressive, more assertive, and time it. There's nothing wrong with clattering someone in the first 5 minutes to let you know that there's no bullshit going on. So against Everton, I think in particular, that's going to be very, very important. Not to do a stupid foul, not to do a stupid or give away a card, but be physical early. Be physical early. Knock a player off the ball. Knock someone into the byline, into the front row. Just drop a shoulder, get into them. That's something that's very, very, very much needed. So yeah, he goes. They have to play smart, but they also have to play nasty as well. So that's exactly what I was just saying. So being smart with your aggression is key to asserting that early dominance. I guess they didn't do that against City, even though that card for Grealish was a fucking joke. Anyway, I'm going to just go on to a little comparison of stats here between United and Everton, just to give you an idea of how both teams are travelling at this point in time. I'm back on Squawka, and they use Opta data. I've kept this. What's Realist United facts? Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. I love aggression. It turns me on. Hey, me too. Like I grew up watching rugby league, rugby union. I would say WWE, but that's kind of fucking scripted aggression. You got to admire the athleticism though. Well, Twisted, you're moving mad. Oh, Realist United, Twisted he's twisted, but we love him for it. Like he's got some brilliant takes, and it's an acquired taste. It's an acquired taste. We love him though. So yeah, look, we'll do the comparison matrix here between United and Everton. Now, goals, chances created, they're fairly similar. United have scored 11 goals, but they've conceded far too many. The shot accuracy and conversion rate are heavily dominant in United's favour. So the chances they create, they have a higher percentage of putting away. So fractionally more. What's the word? Clinical. Sorry, I just got lost there by the chat. So United have created 69 chances. Just let that sink in for a minute. I like that. So the pass accuracy between Everton and United. Now, United have a higher passing accuracy, but a lot of their passes are short, side to side, usually within 5 yard passes within the midfielder players. You'll get the long balls usually coming in from the flanks, especially when Ronaldo's playing, and when Rashford's trying to break the line. So you usually find they get the ball out to either Anthony, or they try and work it at the middle to Bruno, try and create that. Sorry guys, throat's a bit tickly. Yeah, they usually try and get the ball to the key playmakers to create that cutting ball, because Rashford obviously isn't the sort of player that holds up the ball and brings out other people into play. So they're trying to utilize his pace to get in behind. That's what I was trying to say. Focus. And United's pass accuracy, I think, is more down to the increased pass accuracy is more down to the fact that they are playing the shorter balls. Everton have been a little lethargic. They're playing quite slow up until recently. So a lot of their passes were the 5 yards and back passes, not a lot of progressive passes that would hinder that passing accuracy. And as you see here, the crossing accurate, the next two metrics here, the long pass accuracy and crossing accuracy. This actually is intriguing to me because this indicates to me that Everton haven't really tried too much by way of crossing or short progressive balls. So for me, I think they're probably going to try and use the pace of, say, DCL or Anthony Gordon, much in a way that United try and play against City or Liverpool in those more pragmatic games. Try and use the pace to get in behind. Now, we see take-on success and aerial duel success here for the defensive metrics. Everton have been abysmal, less than 50%. United, their take-on success and aerial duel success, both hovering around 51, 52%. So defensively sturdy. So one every two attempts, they win the challenge. They win the duel. Ground duel success. Everton defend more with the feet than they do defend better with the feet than they do from crosses. So that could be a way to get in, get opportunities into them. So maybe using, I don't know, Anthony, Rashford, Martial. I'll move on to my my predicted 11, but using the pace to get around them is probably not going to be as effective as going to the byline and trying to shoot a cross in. Those metrics right there will indicate it the best for you. So yeah, right there you see it. Well, that didn't work for me, you prick. Go back into the comments here. Twisted, you're moving mad. He does all the time. Twisted's very normal-ish. I don't think so. It depends what you define as normal, because we're all normal in our own rights. I fear Everton will show more desire in this game as they will be fighting for survival all season. That's interesting. I think, as I stated earlier, I think the fact they haven't lost a game in a while, I'm not super concerned about them because I don't think they have the player-for-player quality to win this game. But confidence can do wonders for a team, and the fact that they've just won 2 games on the bounce, United have just lost one. It could be a fairly tight game. I'm going to give my prediction a bit later on that, but I feel like Everton, especially if Calvert-Lewin's back in, they're going to have a bit of a bounce, and that could spell some trouble. Realist United, I want the good old days back, like having Yap Stam. Yeah, man. Like, have just this big fucking unit come through and clatter someone, whether it's on the ball or off the ball. Like Yap Stam, Vidic, Ferdinand, these guys, they weren't afraid to take a knock. They weren't afraid to give it to someone. Like, I feel just football in general as well, it's just gotten too soft. Not soft, like things like concussion rules and all these sorts of things are good for the well-being of the player. But the whole, I guess, from the outside looking in, that you see like the rugby guys talking about football being like, sissy sport. And I feel like sometimes it's getting a bit more that way. Like they're not allowed to slide tackle, or they're very heavily discouraged. You're not allowed to, pull on someone's shirt. You're not allowed to be a shit. You're not allowed to be a little shit to knock someone off the ball. Just drop the shoulder and level them on the ground. Let them know that you're not going to get beaten. There's Gandalf settings. You shall not pass. I feel that's very important, but it's just not the way it is these days, unfortunately. So yeah, I'm going to move on to my predicted 11 now. So I'm going to show you who I think should start and why. Oh shit! What happened there? That's not what I wanted. Oh dear. Here we go. All right, so I'm on a website called homecrowd.io. So I've gone with the 4-3-3 or the 4-2-3-1, however they decide to. We all know that the formation is fluid. Now I've opted for the same back four that is essentially the same team as what was finished in Omonia. I don't know how to pronounce it. Anyway, some Wi-Fi pronunciation, no doubt. So De Gea in goal, Dalot and Malacia as fullbacks again. Martinez and Lindelof, I think, changing The centre backs again would just be silly, especially if Varane's not fit. If he's not in the selected team, have him on the bench maybe if he is fit to come on for a little bit. But I feel like just keeping them together is just going to be more beneficial. They've already played a game together. Not that they know each other, but it just keeps stability for the back line. I think Casemiro should start this game again. He was good against Ammonia. He looked a little bit lost at times, but he helped sort of keep control of that midfield, and there wasn't a lot of it's a dead club, so I don't really know deep diving it too much. They're very dead, and United really just allowed them to come back into the game. But anyway, I think Casemiro, Fernandes, and Eriksen are going to be the midfielders. Casemiro, he is still getting adjusted, but he is a very good DM in a destroyer kind of way. Like, I remember seeing a few times already, he is one step ahead when it comes to the pass before the pass. So he cuts off the player where the ball is going to end up, which then cuts one of those passing lanes down, and the team might have to recycle possession again. They might have to backtrack, or maybe a hit and hope, a cross and inshallah mode. So I feel like in a game like this, when things could be very compact and very very pragmatic, Casemiro might be good to just take someone out and progress the ball. Get it to your Eriksen, get it to your Fernandes, who are the more creative players. So for the front three, I've gone for Martial, Antony, and Rashford. Just pace, honestly. This game might be a little bit more pragmatic. It might be quite physical, and I feel like it's going to be sort of a counter or a quick turnaround breakaway goal that might decide this one. We saw when Martial came on in the Europa League game instantly how United looked 20 times better. It was just a noticeable black and white difference when having Ronaldo up front, where he's just target man or the focal point to receive the ball. It just makes the entire fluid nature of our play very, very static, and in a lot of ways that's much to the detriment of what Ten Hag's trying to achieve. But that's something that needs to be worked on moving forward. Rashford on the left, Antony on the right. I don't think Sancho played well enough to warrant another start, even though he only played half a game. I just think he needs to maybe come on in the second half if there's a game chase, or if there's something you need to add some extra attack. We'll jump back into the comments here. I already looked at that one. Who's United's leader on the pitch? I'll just jump through here. Right now, no one is a leader. Casemiro can be in twisted degrees. Well, I think Martinez has shown that he has leadership qualities, and he's been marshalling the defense quite well. And honestly, I'd say Eriksen. Not that he's an out and out leader, but Eriksen. I mean, he's just got to be naturally someone inspiring to everyone else. Like, this guy went through this fella nearly died. He had a fucking heart attack. He's now running around as a Terminator with a fucking pacemaker in his chest. And you see players like Ronaldo, you see players like, I don't know, Luke Shaw, Sancho, like big name players, Harry Maguire, dropping stinker after stinker, not playing for the badge, not playing with any kind of pride, and Eriksen's out there running his ass off at 30 years old with a fucking artificial heart. That's got to be some sort of inspiration for the people. Like, how can you drop a 2 out of 10, look over the room at Eriksen, who's absolutely worked his ass off, and think, oh yeah, that's good enough? Nah, not here for that. Sancho needs to fix up ASAP. He does. I mean, to give him a small defense, of Sancho here. He was developing well on the right there with Dalot for a couple of games, and then he's just got moved around. And it's very hard for him to cement something down. That's on him to perform, 100%. But knowing where you're going to play and knowing your position in every game does help you. So in that way, I think he gets a little bit of a pass from me in my personal opinion. but I don't think it completely eradicates the issue that he has. So that's fair. Iron Man is a good shout, but he needs rest. Oh, he does, but he's been phenomenal. Like for me, he's been the player of the year so far. Um, and yeah, like you're right though. I think maybe even at some point a Fred Casemiro midfield with Fernandez in front, maybe in a 4-2-3-1, or even or something like that. Like I just don't want to see McFred happen again. I nearly shat myself when I saw them coming on for Ammonia. I thought, shit, they're going to win here. Almost got level. um, but yeah, like maybe even if Fred comes in as a sort of a semi-rotation option for Ericsson, that wouldn't be too bad. I wouldn't mind saying that because I still rate Fred. I like him. I need a pacemaker elsewhere in my anatomy. Pixar, it didn't happen. Pixar, it didn't happen. Hot take, I can't stand Bruno. Oh, yeah, you're entitled to your opinion, man. Honestly, like I equally love and cannot stand him. I feel like he's done okay taking the captain's armband. I think he's done a decent job as captain, but he's not captain material in my mind. Um, it, if anything, it just exacerbates what he already does to a higher level because he can go and nag to the referee because he has the armband and he won't get carded. Less chance he'll get carded or free kicked or whatever. So yeah, look, I understand what you're saying though. He can be massively infuriating, and I just hope that even if he is an asshole, he can start banging out some goals and assists. So yeah, that's how I think the team will line up, guys. And hopefully we can see them dispose of Everton quite easily. Now I'll remove that. Go into go to full screen mode here. So excuse my camera moving mad this thing. So score predictions. Now, given the fact that I think DCL will start for Everton or at least come on as an impact sub, I think that that won't be enough for them to lift their levels. I feel like Ten Hag has, for the most part, has United's measure. Not United's measure, has the players' measure. He's shown a couple of times that he can actually get a tune out of them once things aren't going well. Now, obviously, annihilated by City, played off the park for the most of the match. And against Ammonia, they played the ball around well, but they didn't really have a lot of control of their own time. And the fact that that Ronaldo was up front didn't help that, and he's lost his shooting boots. I don't know what the hell's going on there. He can stay away from this game. I feel like United will probably play similar to how they did against Ammonia, to be fair. A lot of midfield movement, trying to get trying to get sort of Rashford and Antony to push on ahead of Martial and maybe create an overload in that regard. Ericsson arriving late, Bruno arriving late. I think we're going to see a fairly aggressive approach to the game. I feel like Everton, they're probably going to try and sort of maybe mid press, mid block, high press from the attackers. I can't really see too many surprises here. It'll probably be a low scoring game. I'm going to say United 3-1. So not so low scoring actually. I think United will win 3-1. Maybe a 1-1 at half time. I think United will score first. I think Martial will probably do a little madness, have a score for them. But yeah, it's one of those games. I think that it's hard to predict, given we don't know what sort of Everton and what sort of United are going to show up. It's going to be very hard at Goodison Park, as we know. They're one of the hardest away games, and now they've picked up a bit of form. It's going to be even harder. The crowd will be up for it. The players will be up for it. They've taken points from Liverpool. They're looking okay. I'm going to drop a invite into the comments if you guys are interested in coming on for a bit. I'll waffle for 5 minutes otherwise and jump off. So copy that. Drop the StreamYard link into the comments here. Paste. Yeah, so I think it'll be 3-1 United. There isn't too much that really worries me about Everton, to be completely honest with you. They've started slowly. Lampard is starting to get a bit of a tune out of them. I'm still not convinced at Frank Lampard's credentials. Eric Ten Hag he's shown a lot already when it comes to even into in-game management as well. Like, he's made very obvious changes outside of the game. He's made very obvious changes in the game, but sometimes the obvious changes aren't the right ones. But he's made more right decisions than not, in my mind. He's still learning as they go along, but I feel like a team of Everton's level, of Lampard's level as manager, I think Ten Hag's going to do a job on him. I think we're probably going to see a quick start from United, maybe get a goal, and then start controlling the possession, controlling the midfield. That's where the main issue is going to be. If Everton score early, I will have concern that they maybe go on. But yeah, this should be an easy brush aside game. Jump back into the comments here. Feel United. Oh wait, no, sorry. Can't stand Bruno. Is it because Bruno is ugly? He really is not that much of an attractive guy, is he? You know what I mean? No homo, but there's much better looking men in the United squad than Bruno. No, because lack of discipline. He can't control a game as a 10 should. That's not the sort of player that Bruno is, though. He's not a player that's going to completely run a midfield. I feel like everything leads up to Bruno to be the guy who puts the pass out, who does as we refer to, the Hollywood ball. So I can understand why you'd be so frustrated like that, but I guess if we accept that Bruno's game is not to be a controlling 10 and it's to be an energetic guy, I think if he's scored into the system, he could be a lot better. But that's going to be a tough ask for the style of player he is. I feel a United 2-1 win. Yeah, that was my first thought, but I think if Martial starts and we've got Anthony and Rashford on the wings, it could be long for Everton's defence, especially if the midfield works properly. I feel like that, like any game, that's where it's key. But if we can stop their midfielders, if we can shut down Anthony Gordon, I feel like that's most of the problem solved, to be completely honest. If they shut down Anthony Gordon and his attacking threat, that probably wipes out maybe 60-70% of Everton's threat, because they're kind of toothless in the rest of the team, in personal opinion. There's a huge goal for the manager's ability. Eric Ten Hag should school Lampard. Oh, definitely. I mean, Ten Hag he's actually an accomplished manager. Lampard is just a glorified cone boy, to be completely honest. He's on the same level as fucking Mikel Arteta, to be completely fair. Probably even worse, to be honest. Went to Derby, took them backwards. Went to Chelsea, and by default, because of how shit the other teams were, got top 4. He bombed out in the Champions League. He bombed out in his third season. He's now gone to Everton, and he's stabilised them, but he's not really improved them. That's how I think it is. Yeah, so that I'm going to leave it there for now, guys. United 3-1 victors. That's my prediction. I feel it'll be they'll cancel each other out kind of game, but United will probably get a couple of early ones. Yeah, so if you like what you see, guys, don't forget, drop a like, share, subscribe. If you like what you see, head on over to the Offside Trap, because that is the new name. It's not Talk Football anymore. The Offside Trap is me and Anthony, and the guys are all taking a little break at the moment because someone's off on holidays. But yeah, you can find me over there as well. So this has been JoshMUFC for Red Devils Down Under. Thank you for joining me, and I'll catch you next time. Glory, glory, Man United and Glazers.